they didn't know there was a brother at Harvard Medical School. And so apparently, part of my research, I read that when they discovered this, they were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Do we have to commission him? And they did. And so they commissioned him while he was still in school. And then 3 years later, he was called up to enlist. But the first African-American commissioned officer in the Navy was kind of by accident. But it's great stuff, right? We should know about him. And so I love learning.
Yeah.
I said, if I don't know it, then I know everybody else doesn't
That's right.
know it. So that's what I try to do each week is introduce you to something or some event that we weren't taught in school.
Yeah. That's funny how policy outweighed their perspective. Like, oh, it's on paper, it's policy, we got to honor it.
Right.
Speaking of policy, there has been a number of things that you champion, but this particular one is something that will, of course, outlive all of us in regards of what it can and what it will continue to do. You've had some experience in regards of working with the state, but specifically in regards of prostate cancer. Do you mind giving us a glimpse into that world? And then as you navigated and championed and continue to champion what we all need to do, why you felt like it was important for others to not only be aware, but also policy to play a role in their awareness in their process?
I mentioned that my father passed when I was 12. And back in that day, they didn't allow kids to come up in the hospital. And they certainly didn't talk about cause of death.
Yeah.
My brother was 9, I was 12. And so it wasn't until years later, I was an adult, that I happened to find his death certificate. And it said cause of death, prostate cancer. I was like, oh, okay. Did not know that. Fortunately, I had been someone who always got an annual checkup. I've been going to the doctor for as long as I can remember. So I thank them for probably planting that seed in me. So I always got tests. And for years, of course, the test of prostate cancer was that digital test that brothers don't want to do.
Right.
And for me, it's like, look, 5 seconds of discomfort versus dying.
A fact. Yeah.
Then years later, the PSA test, the blood test emerged. And so I would always get blood tests for everything, HIV, et cetera. And if nothing else, it gives you a baseline.
Yeah.
That every time you go back, you know what the test was before. So when you get to my age and the time, probably in my 60s at the time, I started going to the doctor every 6 months as opposed to every year. And that PSA test. And then last year in May, you get a call from you get your checkup. You don't get a call from the doctor. You get a call from the doctor's office. They say, well, we want you to, this PSA thing kind of spikes, so we want to take a look. So that started the process. Of course, I remembered that my father had died from it. And so I had to start kind of preparing myself mentally for what could be potentially some devastating news. Ended up having a biopsy, and they discovered cancer. Fortunately, early stage, but you hear the word cancer, you don't care whether it's early.
Yeah.
It's all you hear is your name and the word cancer in the same sentence. And so I had to deal with that personally and with my family. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was get on the phone and FaceTime with my children and tell them that their dad had cancer. But through that all, it never dawned on me not to write about it. I'm a journalist. And how can I spend a career asking people to share their most vulnerable moments if I was not willing to share mine? So it was in July of last year, July 2nd, when I heard that they did find cancer. And I think it was about September when I wrote the first of what I call my cancer chronicles and revealed to the world. And I called a few people that I knew would kick my ass if they read it first. So the day before it was coming out. But I always was going to do that because I felt that it was my calling to help people to live better. That's what I do, right?
Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah.
Be better. Let's be better today than we were yesterday and try to be better tomorrow than we were today. Part of being better is being healthy.
Yeah.
And if someone did ask me, say, why are you writing about this? And I had to think about it. I said, if I can encourage one man to go get a PSA test and it saves his life, that's worth it. That's all I wanted.
Right.
Little did I know that thousands of people would respond, men, all over the place. Men who, I don't like anything you write, but I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
You made me go get my PSA test.
Right.
And there's nothing like
That's
health
good.
is one of those areas that
Yeah.
prostate cancer doesn't care what side of the aisle
That's
you're
right.
on.